Well, hey, it's Steve at 1000 Year Homes. Welcome aboard. So my deal out here is building a custom house. It'll be in a Santa Fe Mission style. I usually put a picture up somewhere of that so you get a vibe. So I'm using shipping container homes, which will ultimately be wrapped up. So and I'm living in this one while I'm building. So behind me, I got done last night, the insulation, and then I'm going to hang drywall on that today. And the rain is coming, so I'm in a heck of a hurry. So I hope to get all the pieces of drywall in place that I need. I use the 5/8 inch thick, which is great for sound deadening, great for many reasons, structural energy, but it's heavy. So I'll be cutting that up. In addition, I want to mention that 12-foot pieces that I need to match the ceiling height, because I've got a high cube. It's 9'6", plus a little bit of drop down there. So I'm like a 9-foot ceiling. I didn't want to have an 8-foot section with a seam. Anyway, 12-foot drywall in my area was impossible to find. So when I went to Lowe's and I told them, man, it's really what I want, the gal hesitated and she says, well, we do have some damaged in the back lot, and if you want to look at it, I'll sell it to you at a discount. Effectively, I think she gave it to me for free when all was said and done, because I bought some other things and they discounted the whole thing. Long story short, the guys went back there, sorted out the best. The edges are broken as we go through, but the faces are still good, and I need to cut the edges off most of these anyway. So I will be working with, and I think it ended up being free, just so they didn't have to ship it back. Effectively, she gave me a discount on the whole order, which made that. Anyway, so super happy all the way around. I got the size of drywall I want. They loaded it with a fork truck. So the only thing I have to do is measure it out, cut it, and get it up. But the only thing, listen, drywall is super heavy, 115 pounds a piece. I'm a single guy here, solo builder. I'm going to put on my back brace, and I'm going to get out my lift so I could get the ceiling done first. Then I'll do the walls. I'm hoping to get 4 sheets of drywall up before the rain comes, and then I've got 4 more sheets out there. Sure would have been nice to have the front done, but I have to get out my chainsaw and do some custom milling that I'm going to be doing, and that's got a whole bunch of design work, the very end, which goes out. So anyway, that's an update. Let me get going. If you too are building your own custom home, listen, this methodology I do of the compartmentalizing and build, well, it takes me a little while to do each section. And I'm not building it in total, right? Like other folks would frame it all out and go. By living in it, I figured out how to tweak it just for me to make it perfect. And then how much electricity I want in a spot where the lights will be. The benefit of doing a bay, like these are, I did a whole bunch of bays. One, I've got a 4x4 transferring the load from stem to ceiling, because I'm going to pour a concrete roof. And, so this will transfer the load. I think it does 8,000 pounds, a regular 4x4. But anyway, but it takes me longer to do it, because each bay I trick out at the time I'm drywalling. So it takes me a little longer. I don't have the efficiency of scale, but I have the joy of the journey, and it's the way I want it when I'm done. Each 4-foot section, when I'm done with a 4-foot section, that 4-foot section is as I envisioned it. I don't accept a thing in that 4-foot section of a house that I don't like. The benefits of a tiny home, right? That is the benefit. All right, man, I'm in a rough place. Already the rain's come. My lighting's getting down. The fates are conspiring. Let me go ahead and get the drywall jack in here set up. Try to get the ceiling pieces in, because if I drag the wall pieces in, I could cut them in place. But I need room for the drywall lift. So let's try to get that part done before the big rain comes. Always up against a hard thing. That's what I'm always up against. Everything about drywall says it's not a one-man job, including even setting up the jack, the lift. It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. right, those of you who are friends of the channel and longtime viewers, you'll know I don't like to measure. I do not like to pull a tape measure, but the only way to get readings on a sheet of drywall is for me to physically measure it. In addition, because these are rough cut and sometimes hand cut timbers, I need to, some of them have a little wobble, a little thing, so I got to measure both ends. And then I cheat the drywall by cutting it a 1/2 inch too short all the way around. And then when I put it in, somehow or another, it magically grows and fits. But if I cheat and I cut it 3/4 of an inch and put it up, then it's 2 inches short all the way around. So I don't know how that works. I've mentioned it before, but that is the truth. I measure everything, cheat a little bit. What I'm accommodating is the fact that these rough cut lumber have knots in them. They have a run out, a wiggle, and so if I just measure one place, I go, oh, it's 92 inches and 1/8. Well, it's not. Where I measured might be, but the rest of it's going to wobble around. That 1/2 inch is what I'm using. If you're going to use hand-cut timbers or anything this custom inside of your shipping container rather than dimensional lumber, you're going to have to accommodate those kind of things. Since I'm doing Italian plaster, I'm doing an old world feel, it won't matter. In fact, it'll look great, So here we go. Let me go ahead and do my first measurements and get the cut a piece of drywall for that. The rain is thinking about it still. By way of tools, I'm going to put in a fresh, clean blade in both knives. I'm going to have a knife in here for fine trimming, and then a knife outside that I'm using for the big cuts. And then I'll have a tape measure in both spots, in here and out there. Hopefully it'll help me get through all of this. So this Husky knife, I've seen that if I'm not careful closing it, it breaks the tips off the one that's in the end. I don't really like that. I think somebody needs to take a look at their dimensions between the safety tabs and how it fits in this knife. But anyway, if I'm real careful, I get to keep the tips on both sides. All right, so I have everything uncovered out here. It's not raining right now, but I'm going to go ahead and slide those first bundle packs of 12-foot drywall out, make my cuts for the roof, tuck them underneath the shipping container, and then cover everything up because it is raining off and on, and nothing's worse than wet drywall. So I'm working around that. Let's see if I could beat the weather. This stuff, I understand it's 115 pounds per sheet, so I'm going to be moving 230 pounds there. I'll leave it dangle. Once I cut it, it'll be lighter. I want to point out here, let me zoom in this here. If you take a real critical look at this, you'll see that this is damaged, but I only need 10 foot by like 38 inches. So while Lowe's was reluctant to sell it to me, at least they had some because it was sold out everywhere within like a 100-mile radius that I went around. I wanted 12-foot. 5/8 inch drywall, and so forgive that it's seconds, but I already picked through it, and I know that it's going to work for my purposes, and I wanted the length so that I didn't have to make a seam. I'll go ahead and do a little video of the seam here so you can see what I want to avoid. It's just going to add, having a seam will just add a lot of extra work for me, and it'll make a crack sooner or later, so hopefully later. All right, let's get this pulled out. All right. You know those murder movies where some little girl whacks a big fat dude and drags him off the street and throws him in a car? No way. This is a healthy sized guy right now, and I'm struggling without it being a water bag of human being. Anyway, long story short, heavy. So on this piece that's damaged, that end's damaged. This end's perfectly fine, so I will measure from this end. And if you watch my video and other videos, I complain about Home Depot workers just ripping that off and then stacking the drywall any way they want. Indeed, once you open that up, it breaks the seal, so then junk gets in on your drywall and ruins the out-facing professional surface. That's pretty delicate, actually. But anyway, so let me go ahead and measure that out. I'm real happy that I've got one end that's not broken at all. So drywall is more of a marathon than it is a sprint. So make your first cut just deep enough where your knife won't be jumping out. You don't want it to go on. And then, you know, see how I would have gone out there. Now I'm leaning over the camera. And then your second cut, you know, go a little bit deeper. Go a little bit deeper. You don't have to cut all the way through. You just have to score it properly so when you snap it, it'll snap right open. So you saw that 30, I'm going to be able to cut off that bad end. Now there's some damaged ends on this side. So I went ahead and I measured true was 37.5 by 36. So I've got a taper on the thing, right? A taper. But I'm going to subtract a 1/2 inch onto the Lord, I guess, like, you know, to appease the cosmos so that it'll fit when I stick it up. And then when I mud it, it'll make the difference. So anyway, I'm going to end up, my dimensions will be 35.5 and 37 even. And then halfway down, what is that difference? That's a full 1.5 inch difference. So put 3/4 of an inch in there. So midpoint will be 36.25. All right. So let's go ahead and do that cut. So I said one at 37. All right. And one at 30, what did I say? 36.25. All right. Nope. 35.5. Good thing I reread. And then halfway down, just here, I said I want that to be 36.5. All right, and then that gives me my, oh, measured it from the wrong side. That gives me my little bit of a taper that I have in the ceiling. And if you're a more exacting carpenter, you wouldn't have to be dealing with just a little bit of run out on there, but I'm not, so I do, and I'm fine with that. I really am fine with it. No problem at all. Now double check those to make sure when I cut this that it's what I expect out of life. So 37, check. 36.25, check. Not check. Let me go remeasure that and see if I want 35. Nope, I wanted 35.5, and that's what I did. 35.5. Now I'm happy. Now, on there I made a line, so I'm not going to put a straight edge. I'm just going to cut through the paper the first time. Nice and gentle. As you know, neither the ceiling rafters nor my drywall cut is precise. I moved it all in, so I got a little wiggle room, so I don't mind having a little tiny wobbly in my cut.
Now, I find I can't snap 5/8 with one cut. I have to make a couple of cuts on it to get it deep enough. But maybe you're a manly man and you could cut it once. So once I cut it a little bit, then I go back through and I press just deep enough that I don't get thrown out of the channel that I've carved with the first one. All right, and I feel some raindrops. So let me get this first piece broke out of here, and then I'll quick make the second. Because it's raining, I'm not going to turn on the camera. I want to get out of the rain, so. Let's put you up. Let's put you up, Internet, so you're dry. Dry, safe and dry. All right, I'll turn you back on once I get these sheets cut.